Okay, our next speaker and local government decision maker is Wally Johnson. He's the county commissioner in Sweetwater County, Wyoming. Wally was born in 1939 in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and he's serving his 9th year within a 3rd county commission term there in Sweetwater County. He has extensive mineral extraction industry experience professionally. He's mined iron ore, coal, trona. I had to Google that so I could put it in your book for you. Sodium carbonate is what that is a variant. And also aggregates, both domestically and internationally. So with that, please give a warm welcome to Wally Johnson from Sweetwater County.
Thank you very much. Where I'll start with this is I'm a first-generation American. My dad was an immigrant coal miner from Finland, and I say that because you know you got to give me a little cut me a little slack, because the Finns are picked on as nearly as badly as the Poles are. So, but when my dad first came to this country, we were very poor. He had a large family, worked 40 years underground, and we struggled when we were kids. We had holes in our jeans, and that was long before they became fashionable in designer jeans. And so I only tell you that because my dad was pretty astute. He came when he was 18 years old. He didn't speak English, and he had a tough life. But one day he didn't philosophize very often, but one day he's talking to me and he said, son, you never want to, and this is before, you know, we weren't involved in politics, but he says, son, you never want to vote for a poor politician. Now, we were poor, you know, so I didn't normally challenge my dad, but I says, Dad, we're poor. Why is that? He says, well, you voted for a poor politician, he's going to steal all of your money. He says, you vote for a rich man, he don't need to steal your money. For 65 years, I didn't understand what that meant. But 2 years ago, it finally dawned on me what he meant. Romney lost the election. And you see the result of that. So. But the other thing that I've learned here today and yesterday, listening to your problems, we don't have your problems. And so I'm so appreciative of that. And when I really tried to figure out why you've got problems that we don't have, it has a lot to do with what one of the presenters made the statement is, you've got a lot of people coming in here from California and Oregon, etc., and bringing their views with them. Well, the thing that I have in my county, we have a lot of people that have come to our county, but they came from Yugoslavia, Italy, Finland, and Mexico. And the reason they came to my county is because it offered a better life for them. They worked in industry, and they worked hard, and they saw the future. So instead of having people with different shades of green in our county, we have people in our county with different levels of rust. And it makes a world of difference as to their attitude about what's going on in our county, because they understand that we need the jobs. I spend all of my time, we have 5 commissioners, I spend all of my time dealing on federal lands, because I understand how important federal lands are to what goes on in the state of Wyoming. And I'll show you that with a couple of these slides. This is Sweetwater County, and as you can see, we have trona, we have gas, we have coal, we have the Jim Bridger power plant, we have uranium, and we have bare oil over there that started producing in 1916, I think that was. So we have a very diversified economy, which we're very fortunate to have. This shows what Sweetwater County's percentage of total assessed valuation is. And if you'll look at this, you'll notice right here, that's oil and gas. Over 40% of our assessed valuation comes from oil and gas. Trona is about 15%. Coal is about 8.63%. Then we got other minerals, etc. And the one thing I'd point out here from a political standpoint, and it's important that you notice this, and I'll show you this a little later, that ag is less than 1% in Sweetwater County. Now this is the state of Wyoming. And again, you'll see that the state of Wyoming is the same. It's over 40% oil and gas. Trona, of course, is less. It's because of the just the difference in the volumes, etc. And coal is 16%. And then again, let's look at this ag again, and I'll speak to that in a second. But what it shows you is that minerals and oil and gas are extremely important, not only in Sweetwater County, but the state of Wyoming. And and then when you look at the total, and the coal comes into this, very important. It's very important to the state of Wyoming, because if you look at the total energy consumed in the United States, 19% of it comes out of Wyoming. That's oil and gas and coal. The Powder River Basin coal is where that's primarily coming from. This shows the energy development in the county. Sweetwater County is the 9th largest county in the nation, and it's the largest county in the state of Wyoming. This shows the land status. Now, the thing to notice on this one is that roughly 70% of Sweetwater County's federal land. Now, when you look at what Obama is saying, that we've increased production in the United States. Well, yeah, he's increased production in the United States, but it's on private land. And when I interface with the BLM, and I want to talk about the BLM in a minute because it's primarily BLM land. We also have some forest and some Bureau Rec, etc. But it's primarily the BLM. Total square miles in Sweetwater County is 10,480. We have various fields that are being permitted at this point in time, but the CDC, the Continental Divide Crescent Junction, for example, the EIS, it's 1.2 million acres, 9,000 wells, 600 wells per year for 15 years. EIS has been going on from 2007 to who knows when that's going to be finalized. Sage grouse core. Here's another thing that, I heard someone say, can we talk about sage grouse? We got to talk about sage grouse. We probably have more sage grouse in the state of Wyoming than the other western states put together. We have a tremendous number of sage grouse. And when you look at Sweetwater County, roughly 37% of Sweetwater County is core habitat for sage grouse. In addition to this, and I'll show this on another slide, we have 13 WSAs. We also have 9 additional areas that are lands with wilderness characteristics. And when you start looking at all of the lands that are being taken away from production, and someone has to stand up and say, enough's enough. And if we elected officials don't do that, tell me who is going to do that. Industry can't do it. Oil and gas people, their hands are tied. We have a seat at the table, pre-decisional on these RMPs, and we've got to take that job seriously, because we're in the formulating stages of those RMPs, and if we're not aware of what's going on, heaven help us. Oil and gas, energy, this nation has to become energy independent. We're on our way, but it could be killed in a second with the stopping of fracturing, with fracking. And there are movements out there that would like to see it all stopped. You people have a lot tougher job with that than we do. We only have to deal with the BLM. We'll talk about that in a minute. But here again, I mentioned the WSAs. There are 42 in the state of Wyoming, and 13 of them. Why we got 13 of them when we got Jackson? We got Teton counties, Sublette County, and these other counties that, and I can say this because I'm from Sweetwater County, that are much more, have much more beauty than Sweetwater County, but we've got 13 of them. I don't know how that happens. And then air quality. This is something I would really like to focus on. I was on the governor's task force for air quality, ozone up near the Jonah and NPL and the Pinedale Anticline. And it also is affecting the Hiawatha field, which is just north of Colorado line there. And the question of air quality is extremely serious, and what it's the potential what that's going to do with these various fields. You know, we're also going to be in non-attainment in the whole Sweetwater County if that happens. Not too long ago, as you know, this issue of regional haze came up, and I testified in front of the EPA along with the governor and other industry leaders about regional haze, because what they're trying to say is regional haze is being caused by coal-fired power plants and the Trona Patch, oil and gas. Now, there's no doubt some of it is. But my position on that is if you'll come into Sweetwater County, into Wyoming in the middle of winter, and then in August, you're going to see a tremendous difference in the regional haze. I believe that there's a large percentage of regional haze is coming from forest fires, not only in the state of Wyoming, but in Colorado, in Utah, and Idaho, and it's coming into Wyoming. So and I bring this up to the Forest Service. What can we do about that? We've got all these beetle-killed trees in our forests, and what are we doing about that? We're just waiting for somebody to stick a match to them, and they're going to burn, and we're going to get regional haze. The Jim Bridger power plant is just in the process of completing some modification to their precipitators that is going to cost somewhere near $500 million. Now, who's going to pay that $500 million? It's going to be the ratepayers. And let's assume that I'm right, that some of this is coming out of these forests where we got beetle-killed trees, and I speak very strongly about this every opportunity I get. Why do we have timber sales in these areas to try to incent the logging industry to take these trees out of those forests? We shouldn't be having timber sales. We should be paying those people to take those trees out of the forest, to improve the watershed, etc. There's all kinds of benefits there, because we'll end up paying millions of dollars to fight those forest fires. How dumb are we? You know, what's wrong with the people we're sending to Washington? Because that becomes an issue with the Forest Service. Now, I regularly meet with the Forest Service and the BLM and representatives from the Sietskity, which is Fish and Wildlife, because that's in Sweetwater County also. And these issues I regularly bring up with them. One of the things that I continually, who did that? Did you do that?
The back button, check.
What do I do?
Hit the other button to the left and see if you can bring it back.
Yeah, right. These are the BLM people that we deal with. Now, these are great people. These are great people. I meet with these people regularly. The thing I remind these people of is the land in Sweetwater County belongs to the people. They are no more than the administrators of our land. Now, they disagree with that, of course. But, you know, we've got to at least take that position with them. And they're good people, and they listen, because they also live in Sweetwater County, some of them in other areas. But basically, I'm their representative, and I owe it to them to point out what my views on it are also. I'll go through these rather quickly. We also are a cooperating agency when we deal with the RMPs, and these are some of the people we do that. This fellow in the middle, I think some of you know him, that's Dave Allison. He's one of the consultants we hire. But the most important one we hire, you also know her, is Connie Brooks. Connie Brooks is from Denver. She's an outstanding lawyer that on the issues that we're faced with these various RMPs. We also formed a coalition of local governments made up of the surrounding counties and the conservation districts. We fund this so we can hire those consultants to deal with these RMPs, et cetera, the ESs, et cetera. WAMSUTR, this is very key to Sweetwater County. BP not too long ago advised us that they're going to invest $2.2 billion in the WAMSUTR area. Jerry Austin said these things at that time. He was a great guy. He is a great guy. the benefits that this has brought to Wamsutter are tremendous, and they're good neighbors. One of the things I notice in listening to all of you, the companies that you deal with they're the same companies that we're dealing with. You know, the Anadarko's and BP and Chevron and Enron, and I was just threw that out there to see if she was paying attention. Enron was in Texas, but anyway, we deal with the same people, and they're great. They're great people to deal with, and we very much appreciate them. Ups and downs, we're boom and bust. Some of these slides, you know, our IT people, I don't know what I'm going to see here pretty soon, because I get no respect. The IT people put this together to me, and they might throw a slide or two in here I don't even know in here, but we'll see. Here's one of them. This bumper sticker here. Dear God, please give us another boom, and we promise not to get away, because we live in a boom and bust economy there, and when it's booming, we really reap the benefits, but when it busts, then we're headed in that direction, and unfortunately, we're going to see it again. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we are getting our arms around the energy situation in this country, and I think that's good, and we'll suffer the consequences of that, but I think overall the nation is going to be better off. Here's another one. This was in one of the local papers there, our land use plan. You know, we don't get any respect from the papers either. Diversification, this shows you again where our energy is developed, and where in the county. Value added, we have also Simplot there. As you may or may not know, they slurry phosphate out of Vernal just outside of Rock Springs, and it's a value added phosphate plant. So it's being expanded right now. They're going to produce other products there also. Multiple use, we firmly believe in multiple use. I badmouth the BLM. But there are movements, as you know, in Utah for the state to take over the lands. And I strongly oppose that. I think that we're much better off with the BLM, as much as I badmouth them, because at least with the BLM we got multiple use. And I'm afraid of what would happen in the state of Wyoming if we were to give the land to the state. State wouldn't be unable to administer it because of cost considerations, and then what they do is they turn around and sell it. And I think the minute you sell it, you're going to lose your multiple use of that land. Here's another one. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. That wasn't my idea. This, again, the staff doing this to me. If that's the worst they did, I'm okay. Let us get about the work our kids and our grandkids deserve. I believe in that one also. And that's it. And I would just conclude by saying how appreciative I am of being here today. You know, I don't get the opportunity to speak to people from the surrounding states and hear my views. You don't have to agree with me, but I appreciate the opportunity to give you my views, and I appreciate hearing your views, because I firmly believe that we're in this together. If we don't take care of our business, the energy business in this country, no one else is. We're where the rubber meets the highway, and we have a responsibility not only to our neighbors today, because we do understand the issues, and understanding is more important than knowledge. And if we don't do it, I don't know who's going to do it. And we've got to do it for our kids and our grandkids. We owe it to them, because this country, I believe, is in a lot of ways headed for trouble, and energy is one area where we have been headed for trouble. I think we're better off to suffer the consequences of the impacts of air and water, etc., instead of sending our kids over to the Middle East to get killed and maimed. I said earlier there's one thing about air quality I wanted to, and I'll leave you with this one. I had the opportunity to join a group of this occurred about a month or 2 months before the Soviet Union crumbled, and I joined a group of coal mining people that were put together on the people-to-people program that Eisenhower started. And what we did is we were to look at the coal mines in Russia and in Ukraine and in Siberia. And unfortunately, I see what's going on in Ukraine. We were in Donetsk, and what a beautiful city that was. And to see what's happened to those people in those mines is just tears your heart out. But when we went on to Siberia, we were in a highly industrialized area in Siberia. And there were coal mines there, and there were steel mills there, etc. And I was visiting with a Soviet engineer, and the air quality was horrible, absolutely horrible. I've never seen air like that before, nor since. And as diplomatically as I could, a Finn talking to a Russian, as you know, the Finns hate the Russians, but as diplomatically as I could, I said to the fellow, I said, what about the air? I'll never forget what his answer was. He said, it's very difficult to worry about the air you breathe when your stomach is empty. And that's the balance that we have to understand. We can't have a perfect world in this country. We can't have a perfect world in Wyoming or Sweetwater County. But we can understand and balance the things that we need to balance for the benefit of this country. Thank you.